Hey there, Ian. I'm Seth with According to Seth. How you doing this afternoon?
Hey, I'm doing all right. Nice to meet you, Seth.
Nice to meet you too. I've loved the series. It was awesome, and I'm excited for people to catch the finale this week.
Yeah, me too. I can't believe we're, what is it? October, end of October.
Yeah.
Uh, 10 months, pre-production, production, post-production, all done. 10 months. That's fantastic. It's,
So, oh, go ahead.
yeah, go for it. Sorry.
Oh, you're okay. I was gonna say, I know this is your first horror series, and Teacup, it kind of draws from all kinds of different genres, not just horror. It kind of felt like Annihilation meets The Thing and so many others. So, when creating this series and like blending these genres, which genre do you find the most interesting to really tap into?
Wow. I would say, it's not so much a genre that uh, it's things that I really enjoy
Hmm.
and things that I really was on board with. Like, as you say, The Thing, Aliens, The Abyss. It's just things that affected me, and, Annihilation, as you say. Um, more than a particular genre, it's just stories that to me really worked well. So that's, yeah, you
That's
know,
awesome.
yeah.
Did you have a favorite episode to create and oversee, and which of the episodes was the most difficult for you?
Oh, wow. I mean, to me, it all feels like one big episode
Hmm.
because, so I would say, I would say episode eight, and not because I wrote episode eight, but because episode eight was the culmination of so many things intersecting, all the stories coming together, and also had so many really challenging aspects to it, be it you've seen all of them,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen them all.
Okay. Meryl's drowning, had to be pitch perfect, and it just took a lot of choreography,
Hmm.
a lot of work. Uh, the um, the scene with James going into the freezer had to work. That to me was challenging and really satisfying because if you do it wrong, it's comedy. If you do it right, which I think we did, it's really affecting. And then the thing, the end, the stunt, the car stunt, that's the biggest our show goes,
Hmm.
physically. And to make that work and not feel like uh, we've lost our ground level feeling, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Was challenging because we are, at the end of the series, they leave the farm, we're widening the iris, we're making the world a little bigger, and we're saying we want to go out with a bang. But if you go out with the wrong kind of bang, then you kind of lost the reality of the show, if you will. And I think we got away with it. Not I think, I'm being falsely modest. We got away with it. So those, they're just such big things that have been on everyone's mind for so many months.
Hmm.
Have those to see those actually come together, both in producing the episode and then in post production, editing and seeing the effects and seeing the wires uh, basically deleted from the stunt performers who were thrown against these fake trees. So yeah, episode eight definitely.
That's awesome. And I know you kind of brought up, working with some of the actors and things like that. So, I've spoken with Boris, Rob, and now Travis, and all of them speak so highly of you. Everyone on the series, was so fantastic. The chemistry was just impeccable. So, was there a moment when filming the series that you knew that you picked the perfect group of people, to help shape the image you wanted to create for the show?
I would say that I don't think there was one
Yeah.
moment. There were several. As it very much became a family. All of us there. Granted, they were talking about several hundred people,
Hmm.
but we really did uh, stumble upon something unique and wonderful, which is this sort of summer camp family feeling. But I would say, with Boris, it was the scene in episode three where he's talking about he and Claire wanted to have a son. In episode two, with Ellen telling the story of having cat scratch fever. Uh, Rob Morgan, pretty much everything Rob Morgan does, but when Rob Morgan tells the story of losing his daughter, like there's these moments where you just go, oh, they just took whatever it is I wrote or Mike O'Shea wrote or Zoe or Francisca and they made it better. And that's what you're always going for is, are the people around, I have some good ideas,
Hmm.
but the people around me are just as important, if not more important than me. I'm there to say yes or no, or this doesn't feel like our show, or this really feels like our show. Uh, the the people around me, be it the designers, the costume people, editors, whatever, and let's just go back to the cast. It's, do they make it better than it was when I wrote it or when Mike wrote it? And all these people, they just kept making things better. And that's pretty, it's not the rarest thing, but it's pretty rare when people, buy into something and really go for it.
Hmm. Yeah, I thought everyone was so fantastic, so I had to ask that. With this being 2 episodes every week, and I thought the cliffhangers were absolutely fantastic, and it always kept me coming back, and I'm sure the audience as well. So, how do you find that perfect sweet spot and know when to end an episode and just give enough to keep people intrigued?
I wish I had a really good answer for this, but there's a weird thing that whether it's writing a film, an hour long, half an hour, I've never thought about page count and I've
Hmm.
never thought about, oh, it's time. For some reason, there's something in the back of my brain, and maybe it's, I've been doing this for a while. There's something that goes, okay, this is the story you could tell in this amount of time. The interesting, so that's not a very good answer for that question. It just happens to be that I have this weird thing. But with the cliffhangers, one of the cool things we found about this show, and especially because the episodes, except for episode 5, are fairly short, is that every scene is a cliffhanger.
Hmm.
And especially with the timeline being 48 hours for the entire season, chronologically, everything, because it's got the same sort of timeline as something like, as we were talking about before, like Aliens, where it's, things just keep ratcheting it up, and because of the abbreviated timeline, it doesn't feel arbitrary or manufactured, because they are under that kind of pressure every step of the way.
Hmm.
The only some people love it, some people have said they take issue with it. That's fine. But like when we finished episode 2 and we get to cut from that night to the next morning, to me, that was there. That gives the audience time to a break. It gives our characters time to let it sink in. But that's one of the only places where I knew when that happens to Claire, we're out. Because then one, you want to know what happens after, and two, you want to leave the audience wanting more. So
I love that. And with the series coming to an end this week, is there something that you hope people take away from the season? Is there any hints you can give us for what you kind of want to do with season 2?
I want, what do I want people to take away from it? I want people to have had a good time. Um, you know, uh, this is a show. It's escapism. It is a story that's supposed to be fun and on the edge of your seat, and you enjoy yourself. And what I want them to take away from it is, I mean, what I was just saying about episode 2, that I want them leave them wanting more. So that it's, we don't, I have no idea whether we'll get a season 2 or not. I hope we do,
Hmm.
but I want people to be excited to find out what happens next with these people. And that's because I'm excited to find out what happens next with these people.
Yep.
And that's not me being coy. I I have ideas, but I haven't, nobody's told me we're doing it again. So I'm certainly not married to any ideas, because that would be heartbreaking if we don't get to come back. But let's hope we do.
I hope you do, because there's a lot I still want to see explored. And last question here for you. Halloween's on Thursday. So what's your go-to horror movie that you watch every October? Get you in the spirit.
Wow. Every October, I don't really watch one movie every October, but I will revisit the original Alien uh, on a yearly basis. That's the first when it came out in 1979 when I was 9 years old, and it was the first uh, scary movie I ever saw. And my brother and sister and I convinced our parents that we wanted to go see it because we were all into Star Wars and science
Hmm.
fiction. And then this came along, and we went to the theater, and it was terrifying. Uh, and I remember riding home in the car. We lived in New England in the woods, basically. Riding home in the car and looking out the window and seeing the stars and just thinking, we are so screwed. We are screwed. And it stayed with me ever since. Maybe I would imagine, my brother and sister didn't let their children see movies like Alien when they were 9 years old. But I think however good I am at what I do now, that's part of it. So that's definitely a big one for me.
That's awesome. I love that franchise, and it just instills fear in everybody. So thank you so much for your time today. I had a blast getting to chat with you and hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yeah, you too. Good talking to you, Seth. Thanks so much.
Congrats on the show.